Did they really think they could mess with you just because you look younger than your age? They dismissed your wisdom as youthful naivety, but now they're standing in stunned silence, realizing they're in the presence of a chosen one with the divine spark shining through. You've always carried a youthful appearance, and while the world may see it as a surface-level trait, it's been both a gift and a curse. People often think they can undermine you, their eyes seeing nothing more than inexperience and naivety. They assume your youthful look is a reflection of your age, but they couldn't be more wrong. What they fail to grasp is that your spirit is timeless, far older than the fleeting years they've measured you by. You carry the weight of ancient wisdom within you, guided by the divine hand that chose you long before you stepped into this world. They think they can mess with you because they see someone who looks young, but they're standing in the presence of someone with the power to dismantle their illusions. God has never left you, even in the moments where the world tried to belittle you. Each condescending smirk, each dismissive glance, each undermining action only fueled the divine plan already in motion. They tried to step over you, thinking you would remain silent, but your voice, empowered by something they could never understand, is about to shatter their illusions. You have never been merely your age or appearance. You are a chosen one, entrusted with wisdom that transcends the limitations of time and space. The world can't grasp the magnitude of what's within you. They've underestimated you, but what they fail to see is that you're not playing by their rules. You're operating with divine timing, orchestrated by a force far greater than their shallow judgments. In your workplace, they've played the same tired games. Colleagues have taken credit for your ideas, exploiting what they perceive as your lack of experience. They've whispered behind your back, confident that your voice holds no weight. They thought they could discredit you because, in their eyes, youth equates to ignorance. But when the critical moment arrived, when everyone was scrambling for solutions, it was you who stood firm. You laid out an innovative plan, not with hesitation, but with a conviction that silenced the room. They watched, jaws clenched, as your ideas took root and started to flourish, while their empty boasts crumbled to dust. You didn't just present a solution. You revealed the divine wisdom within you, something they had no capacity to foresee. As a chosen one, your youthful appearance is a direct reflection of the powerful energy that radiates from within you. It's not just your skin or features that make you appear younger. It's the light you carry, the divine spark that sets you apart. While others may age with time, your essence defies the normal limits of the human condition. Your spirit is vibrant, alive, and constantly renewed by your deep connection to the source. Every time you walk in faith, shed the weight of negativity, or release old wounds, you allow that radiant energy to flow through you more freely. It revitalizes your body and keeps your soul in a state of perpetual renewal. The aura of peace, love, and resilience you embody also plays a part in this timeless glow. You have the wisdom of ages, yet the playfulness and wonder of youth, making you both ageless and eternally vibrant. This inner harmony reflects outward, giving you that undeniable glow, one that others can't help but notice. Your youthful look is more than just a physical trait. It's a testament to the divine power that flows through you, proof that you are not bound by the same laws as others. Time may pass, but it cannot touch the eternal energy that sustains you as a chosen one. They see your youthful appearance and mistake it for weakness, believing they can manipulate or belittle you, unaware of the divine shield that surrounds you. Every attempt to undermine your strength, every whisper designed to bring you down, is met with a force they cannot see, the hand of God guarding you relentlessly. They assume you're an easy target, that your energy is naive and unformed, but what they cannot comprehend is that beneath this youthful exterior lies the spirit of an ancient soul, a soul tempered by wisdom beyond their grasp. Your presence alone is a divine contradiction, youthful yet eternal, vulnerable yet untouchable. God's protection is not something they can perceive, yet it encases you like armor, deflecting every subtle insult and every manipulative plot. The same hands that crafted the heavens hold you steady, and no amount of scheming or jealousy can penetrate this divine safeguard. They attempt to strike at your reputation, thinking you're too naive to notice the shadows creeping around you. But here's what they don't know. God has already whispered their intentions to your soul. You're always 10 steps ahead, not because you've plotted revenge, but because the Creator has woven your path in ways they cannot unravel. Their plans dissolve before they even take root, because the divine force that surrounds you is impenetrable. Think about this scenario. You sense the deception in your circle, the undercurrents of betrayal. Someone you've trusted is quietly trying to sabotage you, spreading lies and hoping to watch your downfall from a safe distance. They think they can play you, that you're too oblivious to notice the cracks they're trying to create in your relationships. What they don't know is that God has already given you discernment far sharper than they could ever anticipate. Without even confronting the situation, the truth begins to surface. People who were once swayed by rumors start approaching you, seeking your perspective directly, realizing the stories they've been fed were nothing but smoke. You didn't have to lift a finger to defend yourself. The divine force protecting you ensured that the deception unraveled itself, revealing the truth to all. This is how God works in your life. He turns the plans of those who seek to harm you into nothingness. Their schemes backfire spectacularly, not because you manipulated the situation, but because your trust in the divine allowed the truth to rise on its own. They thought they could destroy your reputation, but all they did was expose their own character. You walk in divine protection, and every day it becomes clearer to those who once underestimated you. No weapon formed against you can succeed, because God has already laid the path of victory at your feet. They might see youth, but you know that this is the disguise, the surface level. What runs beneath is the power of an ancient soul, protected, guided, and empowered by forces far beyond what their limited minds can comprehend. They will learn that God's chosen are never truly vulnerable, never truly exposed, and never ever defeated. You've been judged by your youthful appearance, dismissed as someone not yet capable of greatness. But what they don't know is that God has always seen your heart in humility. These are the seeds that have been quietly sown, taking root beneath the surface, invisible to those too blind to recognize the depth of your potential. They believed they could take advantage of what they assumed was inexperience, but God is about to multiply your days, your efforts, and your impact. The world will soon witness the power of divine multiplication in your life, and those who doubted you will be left stunned. Your life is on the verge of an unstoppable transformation, a surge of growth so rapid and profound that even you may struggle to comprehend it at first. The elevation God has planned for you is not a gradual ascent. It's a catapult into realms of influence and prosperity that will leave onlookers in awe. They thought they could keep you small, keep you unnoticed, but God had other plans, plans that defy their limited understanding. Your rise is imminent, and the velocity at which it will happen is a divine demonstration of how the humble are lifted higher than anyone could ever foresee. The people who once brushed you aside, the same ones who ridiculed your efforts or didn't bother to acknowledge you, are now witnessing something they can't explain. They're watching as God multiplies your efforts tenfold, 100-fold, thrusting you into spaces they've longed to enter but never could. This is the power of divine multiplication. What seemed insignificant in their eyes is now elevated to unimaginable heights. The seeds you've planted in faith are bursting through the soil, growing at a rate that defies natural logic. This is God's promise fulfilled. You are not bound by the judgments of those who underestimated you. You are tied to a higher order, one where your good heart is the currency of elevation. The world is about to see just how wrong they were. Your rise is God's answer to their underestimation, and they will stand in awe as you step into the fullness of your calling. You've given more than anyone knows. Time and time again, you've placed others' needs above your own, even when they failed to see your worth. They mistook your youthful appearance for inexperience, but they never saw the depth of your heart, the quiet strength behind your selflessness. They thought they could take advantage of your kindness, believing it was endless and without consequence. Yet God saw every sacrifice, every moment when you gave without asking for anything in return. Those acts of selflessness were not lost in the noise of a world that often overlooks the pure of heart. They were seeds planted in faith, and now those seeds are about to bloom in ways that will leave others speechless. God has always been preparing for this moment, the moment when what you've poured out comes back to you multiplied. This is the divine principle that governs the universe. Whatever you give with a pure heart returns to you in overflowing measure. While others took advantage, dismissing your kindness as weakness, God was keeping record, ensuring that your selflessness would not go unnoticed. Now the tables are turning. You're not seeking validation, and you never have, but the recognition that is coming your way will be undeniable. The same people who once disregarded your generosity will stand in awe as blessings rain down upon you, and they will know it is because of the goodness you never withheld. Consider how you've always been the one who listens when others need an ear, the one who steps in with help when no one else can be bothered. You've given, not out of obligation, but because it's in your nature to care, to support, to uplift. They didn't always acknowledge it. In fact, some even took your kindness for granted, assuming that because you looked young or inexperienced, you didn't understand the weight of what you were offering. But you did, and more importantly, God did. Every act of love, every moment of sacrifice was recorded, and now it's your time to receive. This is God's promise. Your selflessness was never in vain. You gave without expectation, but the divine was always preparing a reward far greater than anything you could have imagined. Those who underestimated you will see the hand of God in your life, and they will witness firsthand that your kindness, your heart, was never weakness. It was your greatest strength, and now it's being exalted in full view. You've always been surrounded by voices, people who think they know better, people who doubt your capabilities because of your youthful appearance, assuming you lack the wisdom to make decisions that matter. But what they fail to see is that you are not guided by the fleeting opinions of men. God's hand has been steering your course from the very beginning. His divine guidance wraps around you like a shield, ensuring that every step you take is purposeful. Every move you make is aligned with a plan far greater than what they could ever comprehend. You are not just navigating this life on your own strength. Your path is carved by the Creator himself, who sees your potential when others are blind to it. God equips you with wisdom that defies your years, wisdom rooted in ancient truths and divine foresight. While others may look at you and see inexperience, God sees a vessel ready to be filled with knowledge and direction that transcends human understanding. You will not stumble blindly through life. Every challenge you face, every decision you make, will be met with clarity, because God is the one guiding your hand. His voice is louder than the noise around you, and his promises are more reliable than the shifting opinions of those who doubt you. Your steps are divinely ordered, and nothing can derail you from the path of prosperity that is set before you. You stand at a critical point in your life, facing a decision that feels like it could define your future. Everyone has something to say. Some think you're too young, too inexperienced, too uncertain of yourself to make the right move. But deep inside, you know those voices don't carry the weight of truth. You pray, seeking the wisdom of the one who knows all things, and in that moment of surrender, the answer becomes clear. An unexpected opportunity arises, one that no one else could have predicted, and it's so perfectly aligned with your heart's desires that you know it's divine. You don't hesitate. You don't second-guess yourself, because you recognize God's hand in it. As you step into this opportunity, doors begin to swing open, one after the other. Paths that once seemed blocked are now clear. The people who doubted your ability to make such a decision are left speechless, watching as God's guidance propels you forward with a force they can't explain. They thought you would falter, that your youthful appearance reflected a lack of direction, but they were wrong. What they didn't realize is that you are not walking alone. God is leading you, and His plans are beyond anything they could have foreseen. This is your assurance. God will always make a way for you, even when others see no way forward. He will open doors that were once locked, and lead you to opportunities that others couldn't even fathom. When you seek Him, you will never be lost. You carry His wisdom within you, and with it you will rise above the doubts, the fears, and the limitations imposed by those around you. Your path is blessed, and His guidance will always light the way. They've tried to rush you, mock your patience, and question why things haven't moved faster for you, but they don't understand what you already know. God's timing is flawless. They think your path is slow, stagnant, or even behind. But what they fail to see is that every moment of waiting has been deliberate, every pause intentional. You are not behind. You are precisely where you need to be, moving according to a rhythm that only divine hands can orchestrate. Their pace is irrelevant because your journey is aligned with something far greater than their worldly schedules. While others scramble ahead, desperate for validation and quick results, you've been quietly building. God has been using this time to refine you, to prepare you for the magnitude of the blessings that are about to flood your life. What appears to be a delay in their eyes is actually divine preparation. Each day that passed without the breakthrough you sought was not a punishment. It was a period of strengthening, sharpening, and positioning you for the exact moment when everything will fall into place. They thought you were waiting in vain, but you were being made ready for something far beyond what they could comprehend. You've watched as others around you seem to speed ahead. They got the promotions, the relationships, the recognition. They hit milestone after milestone, and you stood by, continuing to trust, continuing to believe that there was something more for you. You felt their eyes on you, their quiet judgments, the subtle pity for what they thought was your stalled progress. But what they didn't know, what they could never understand, was that your elevation was not tied to their timelines. It was tied to God's. And when God moves, He moves in ways that make everything else seem insignificant by comparison. Then one day, without warning, the door opens. The opportunity you've been waiting for arrives, and it is so perfectly aligned with your heart, your purpose, and your calling that you know it was worth every second of waiting. It's not just an opportunity, it's a divine appointment. The scope of it leaves even you in awe, far surpassing anything those who rushed ahead of you have received. The same people who once pitied you now stand in disbelief, watching as everything falls into place for you in ways they never thought possible. What they scrambled to achieve on their own, God has delivered to you in His perfect timing, with a magnitude they couldn't reach even in their haste. This is the affirmation of divine timing. Your waiting was never in vain. Every delay was designed for your growth. Every setback, a divine setup for your elevation. God was not holding you back. He was aligning everything in your favor. Now, as the pieces come together, the world will see what you've known all along. God's timing is not just perfect, it's miraculous. What is meant for you will not pass you by, and when it arrives, it will be far beyond anything you could have planned for yourself. The world looked at you and saw only limitations. They thought they had you figured out, convinced that your trials would break you, that adversity would grind you down. But what they failed to realize is that God had already fortified you long before they ever doubted you. You moved through their mockery with quiet strength, never needing to prove yourself to those who couldn't see your worth. While others wavered, you stood firm, rooted in the knowledge that your strength wasn't something that could be measured by their narrow perceptions. It was forged in adversity, tempered by trials that would have crushed anyone else, but not you. You were never meant to fit their expectations because God placed something inside you that they could never understand. You are not simply resilient, you are unshakable. Every obstacle they put in your path, every whispered doubt or blatant dismissal, only served to strengthen what God had already built within you. They underestimated you because they couldn't comprehend the divine force that fuels your spirit. They saw your outward calm and mistook it for passivity, not realizing that it was the stillness of someone who walks with God, someone whose strength is anchored in something far greater than human approval. And now, the moment they've been waiting for, the moment they expected you to fail, has arrived. A challenge stands before you, whether it's a critical project, a daunting exam, or a high-pressure situation that they assumed would be your downfall. They watch, convinced that this is where you will falter. Their judgments are loud, their expectations clear. They want to see you fail, but you remain calm. You know something they don't. You know that God is with you, that your strength isn't something that can be shaken by the pressure they hope will crush you. You move through the challenge with grace and resilience, your faith guiding every step. While they scramble, trying to anticipate your collapse, you remain steady, unflinching. The victory that follows is inevitable. You emerge from the situation not only having succeeded, but having done so with a strength that leaves them in disbelief. Those who doubted you are left speechless, unable to comprehend how you managed to pull through. They look at you, and it's clear now. Your strength didn't come from anything the world could offer. It came from the divine connection you've always known was within you, from the God who sees what no one else does. This is your season of victory. What they didn't expect, what they couldn't predict, was that your adversity wasn't something to fear. It was the very thing that shaped you into the force you are today. They may have mocked you, doubted you, even pitied you, but now they must watch as you rise. The strength they overlooked will shine in full view, and they will finally see what it means to be chosen by God. You are not just a survivor of adversity, you are the embodiment of divine resilience, and this is only the beginning of what's to come. Those who underestimated you, thinking they could dismiss you based on your youthful appearance, now stand face to face with the truth. They were wrong. What they saw as inexperience was, in fact, ancient wisdom forged in the fires of resilience and nurtured by your deep connection to the divine. You are a chosen one, a soul far older and wiser than their shallow perceptions could ever grasp. They thought they could diminish you, but in their attempts, they only highlighted the very strength they failed to see. The blessings and elevation that are coming into your life are not accidents or mere strokes of luck. They are the direct result of your steadfast faith, the unshakable foundation you've built through adversity, and the divine favor that has been guiding you all along. Every challenge you faced, every moment you were overlooked or underestimated, was part of the divine plan to strengthen and prepare you for what is now unfolding. Your rise will not just be seen, it will be undeniable. Your story is powerful. Your testimony of triumph in the face of doubt will serve as a beacon to others who have been similarly underestimated. You've shown that true power does not lie in appearances, but in the depth of your connection to God and the strength of your spirit. Share your story. Let others see the truth of what it means to be chosen, to rise against the odds, and to embody the divine wisdom that flows through you.